The girl in the video said, blowed up. It's pretty striking, isn't it? Now, her parents don't say blowed up. Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't say blowed up. Princess Leia doesn't say blowed up. Why did she say blowed up? And repeat it a couple of times. These kinds of errors are known as over-regularization errors, and they're quite characteristic of children around this age. The interesting thing is that if you go and carefully analyze the language output of children younger than about 3, and then follow it all the way to, say, age 8 or so, and you look at the over-regularization errors that they make during that time, what you find is that it follows what's known as a U-shaped curve. Now, we love these things in developmental psychology because most of our curves are just straight lines. This begs to be explained. So on the y-axis, we have the percent of correct usage. And on the x-axis, we have the ages of children and their word learning. What you find is that young children, younger than the little girl in the previous video, they will say, blew up. If there was an explosion that happened yesterday, they say, it blew up. Then, starting around age 3, all of a sudden, they start over-regularizing. They say blowed up. They say runned real fast. They say eated all my dinner. And if you correct them, they'll say, okay, but then the next day, they'll make the same mistake again. They really insist on these mistakes. These mistakes stick around for quite a long time, all the way up until about age 8, when they disappear again. So what's going on here? Well, the hypothesis is that for young children, they're just mapping. They're just mapping a word to its referent. Explosion in the past, you say blew up. Explosion right now, you say blow up. What happens is that internally, over time, something goes on in the child's mind between the ages of 3 and 8, where the rule, the grammatical rule, is extracted, and then it becomes over-applied. So internally, they recognize that, okay, in order to get a past tense, I take the stem and I add ed. And they start applying that rule. No one's taught them to do this. This is unrelated to schooling, as research has looked into that. They just start doing it. In that way, they make over-regularization errors, especially in a language like English, where there are a lot of irregulars. Then, they painstakingly have to learn all of the exceptions, which is why those errors stick around until they're about 8 years old. So that's the hypothesis. That's the kind of stuff that developmental psycholinguists do when they're studying older children's language acquisition.